Hell to the motherfucking king. Evil Dead Rise is officially here, and yes, it's true. The movie is a fresh spin from The Cabin in the Woods, with new lore and even an Army of Darkness reference within the beginning of the film, with the ending being left open for multiple scenarios for more sequels to continue the story. Hey guys, what's good? I'm Lonely Contrast. Welcome to the channel. I'll be discussing the latest in the horror genre, sci-fi, and sharing my rock concerts. Evil Dead Rise was a fun, gory ride with loads of blood, jumps, and throwback scenes to the original films. Hope you didn't blink because this film was fantastic. If you're new to the channel, please help this channel grow by slashing that subscribe button by tapping the notification bell. With your support, I'm able to deliver more horrific news, and this way you guys will never miss a video. Originally, I was going to do a quick review of the film, but it seems that a lot of YouTubers beat me to the punch. But honestly, while watching this movie, I noticed a lot of details where the next sequels could go and take place, and depending when and where, most likely when and where meaning past, present, and of course future, and new locations besides the cabin in the woods and a skyscraper. I want to dive in where we could possibly see the franchise go. Remember when Danny discovered multiple religious artifacts, including 3 phonograph records from 1923 because of the earthquake, which I will dive in more about that so-called earthquake. During the recordings, we hear a priest or someone explain that the book of the Necronomicon is actually the 3rd volume of the Naturom de Monte. And that's where we get our Army of Darkness reference, with Ash unknowingly discovering there were not just one book of the dead, but there are 3 books of the dead. Wow. In the recordings, we find out that the priests were researching the demonic book in secret but were denied by the church. But regardless, spoke the unspoken words, and even though Danny tried to stop the recordings, it still unleashed evil, and that evil was what we saw throughout the film. Now, what if this scene was a setup for another Evil Dead film in how the 3rd book was discovered, how it landed on the hands of the priest, the church turning them down, and eventually leading to the priest to say the words, and eventually seeing all the priests and nuns get possessed by deadites? Now that would be fucking freaky. Now that would be an interesting movie, and why not? I feel like it would just dive in more into the past and explain the religious artifacts that we'll also discover with the recordings as well. This will also explain why Bruce Campbell's voice was in the recordings, and initially stated by Lee Cronin that Bruce is actually voicing Ash Williams, who was time displaced after Army of Darkness, which I would love to see how that goes, but there are 2 timelines, so I can definitely see that. According to an interview with Lee Cronin and NME, Bruce came over to Ireland and I asked him if he would do this teeny tiny little cameo for me, and the fun part is that that's not necessarily Bruce Campbell playing someone else. That could very well be Ash Williams. And check out this interview with Lee Cronin about the 3rd book being discovered by the church.
Is the story of what happened with the priests back in the past. 1 priest versus 100 deadites. I'd like to see that movie. And
honestly, that's a movie that I would love to see, and I feel like that's a movie that we are actually going to get soon. I don't know, in 2 years or 3 years, but I feel like that's going to be the next chapter in the Evil Dead franchise. By the way, if you're wondering what 2 timelines I'm referring to, then I suggest after this video go check out Ash vs Evil Dead, which is also canon to the Evil Dead universe. And what about that ending that actually explains the beginning of the film that could also lead us back into the cabin to the woods and another Evil Dead movie? So in the beginning of the film, we are taken back into the cabin in the woods, and what looks like a deadite, but it's actually a remote control helicopter being operated by Caleb, who is actually Jessica's boyfriend. At the lake, it was revealed by Teresa that Jessica was still feeling under the weather, so Teresa decided to visit a not so ill Jessica who happens to be possessed by a deadite. So the possessed Jessica scalps Teresa's head and decapitates Caleb with his own remote control helicopter while levitating out of the lake, which was a badass way to start a movie, honestly. At the end of Rise, it was revealed that Jessica actually lives in the building, and the events that took place with Beth's family actually took place a day earlier from the events in the cabin. Jessica was getting ready to start her vacation and meet up with Teresa and Caleb. While walking through the building's parking lot, she noticed all the chaos and blood left from the fight between Ellie and Beth. An unseen force, which would have to be either a surviving deadite, which I will later explain, but it's like Lee Cronin suggested that the 3rd book is actually alive, and it probably attached another deadite to Jessica, which takes us all the way to the start of the film. Another possible theory or theories is that this scenario will lead us to 2 films. As Lee Cronin stated, there could be new people heading to the cabin for vacation and not aware of what evil is waiting for them, and that most likely is a possessed Jessica and a possessed Teresa. Another theory is that the 3rd book is still in the building with deadites roaming the apartment complex with unsuspecting residents not aware of the evil that's going through the hallways. You see, now that is a movie that I would love to see, and we're also exploring the emotional aftermath of Beth and Cassie running away, maybe being chased down by deadites throughout the streets. Overall, I love how Lee Cronin gave us 4 more possible sequels to further expand on a bigger Evil Dead universe. So what if the reason of the earthquake has to do with the season 3 finale of Ash vs Evil Dead, and the earthquake is actually a result of the final battle and the release of the Dark Ones? What do you guys think? Too far-fetched? Or maybe. Evil Dead Rise is playing everywhere. Go support the franchise by checking it out, and if you did, then all I have to say is groovy. Please like, comment, and share. I would love to discuss this with you guys. Be on the lookout for more horrific news, and as always everyone, thank you for watching, and please be safe.